Kia ora koutou, my name is Derelee Potroz-Smith. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Woolchemy. I've got a picture there. That's my son at 2 years old. He was my poster child when I used to travel through the US and talk to people about my business. I used to take a banner around with me, and that was the picture that I had with me. So he is now 11, so that's how long I've been doing this business, and so just how I'm so passionate about this work that I'm doing, which I feel ticks all the boxes in terms of offering a clean tech, health tech solution, helping people, helping the planet, and making money for New Zealand as well. So, let's see if I can, is that? Yep, okay. So, yes, it's about nappies, but it's a bit more than just nappies. We are a materials technology company, so we've targeted hygiene products because they are such a, most of them go to landfill. So we take a conventional nappy, this is made up of essentially a cup of crude oil, which equates to one of these. So a newborn baby up to about 6 months will use 10 of these a day. In New Zealand alone, we use 1 million nappies a day. So I had someone at a dinner the other day say, "Oh, is that a very big market?" I said, "It's massive." Of course, imagine going through 10 of those and then just throwing them out. So yes, cup of crude oil in every nappy. 167 billion nappies are made every year. So it's a huge issue, goes to landfill and never disappears. It's there forever. So, and that equates to 249 million barrels of crude oil, which we could do without. And that nappies make up a third of, it's the third single biggest contributor to our landfill everywhere in the world. So it's a huge problem. And of course, parents today are looking for eco-friendly alternatives. If you take my son, who's now 11, he's actually in the alpha generation, or also called the glass babies. They are, they came after the iPad, so they have an attention span of about 12 seconds. Millennials were 20 seconds, and they care more about your well-being, and they also don't want to work as much. So, you know, we've got to come up with some real practical solutions. Parents still want to buy disposables. We're all busy. We've got other things to do. So, disposables will always become useful in the future, but reusables becoming a big thing as well. So, our goal is to replace single-use plastic. That's the #1 priority. And yes, we're using wool from New Zealand to do it, which is quite pioneering and very disruptive to the healthcare industry. So we've got 2 products called New Flex. This is a roll of New Flex. So a very lightweight material. We're the first company in the world to use this method to make wool these materials this thin. And we're using strong wool, which is 90% of our wool production in New Zealand. Currently only going into carpets and upholstery, so there's not many uses for it. We also do a washable material, which we call Nuzorb. That was our first technology. That's an absorbent material. So I've got samples here if you want to come and have a look after my presentation or after Ty's. And just to see what it feels like. So Nuzorb is built for absorbing liquid, so hence why menstrual underwear companies are really into it, companies that make reusable nappies and so forth. Now the New Flex is used purely for disposable materials only, so products like nappies, home care, wipes, incontinence products, but there's a raft of other things you can do with it as well. So the market is massive, $127 billion market for hygiene, which is broken up into disposable nappies, home care, incontinence products, because We do have an ageing population. People that have diabetes also need these products. And then wipes, of course, which seem to be everywhere now these days. Now, the interesting thing with these materials that go into these products these days, 93% are actually made from petroleum. Only 7% are made from renewable materials, hence why there is a massive opportunity here to really come out with something quite different and use natural renewable fibres. So, why wool? Wool has some pretty amazing benefits. Currently, cotton, hemp is used in products these days, but mainly polypropylene, polyethylene type materials made from petroleum. These sort of properties on the site are commonly what on packaging they'll talk about, you know, ultra breathable, super softness, cotton-like softness, super absorbent, fast acquisition time. What we're offering is natural odour control, natural thermal regulation properties, and of course being planet friendly. So odour control and thermal regulation are becoming incredibly important because odour control is only usually offered by adding chemicals to these products, and they can irritate the skin. Thermal regulation, just through my own experience as a mother, I realised that the little hydrogels that are in these products get extremely cold when they get wet. And so my theory is babies are waking up because they're cold in the night. And so with one layer of wool in a nappy, could actually help your baby sleep through the night. And I would have honestly have loved that when I had my 3 boys. And I had 3 boys under 6, so I didn't sleep a lot. So that was a really exciting discovery. And I will just caveat, I do come from a sheep farm, so I'm a very, very pro wool person and very proud. And you can see why. There's over 130,000 tonnes of wool in New Zealand, and half of it, we don't really know where it goes. It goes to auction, goes to China, and we don't know what happens with it. And at the moment, sheep farmers are basically paying more to shear the sheep than it costs for them to get the money for that wool. So there's this opportunity to actually pay farmers more money, put the money back into the economy, and make some pretty amazing materials. Sheep population, 27 million sheep. That's a lot. I think New Zealand makes up 9%, put it there, 9% of the global wool production comes from New Zealand. And of course, wool is biodegradable. 50% of wool is made up of carbon, so we don't often talk about carbon sequestration of wool, but if it goes back into the soil, we're just returning that carbon back into the earth. And that has lots of amazing enzymes, nutrients in wool that when it biodegrades actually helps support plant growth. So hence that's why we're using wool. How we work, and this is probably quite different from how other companies can operate in the hygiene sector. We basically source the wool direct from farm, and then we purify it. So we put it in a more cleaner state, and we'll be the first company in the world to do that process to wool, which means it keeps us on a pretty competitive state to supply that purified wool to other applications as well. We then produce roll goods, so we've got manufacturers that make these rolls. This is a really small one, but these will often be a metre wide. And the width of a nappy, and then it just basically the length of a nappy is about the size per unit. So that, what we do with that is we send that to the nappy converters. They're the ones that actually make the nappy products. So all we're doing is supplying them this roll of wool material, which then goes into these products. We've done trials in China and in South America. This has gone through machines that are spitting out 1,000 nappies every minute. So it has to be super strong and be able to be rewound and wound again. So I guess essentially what we're offering there is we're offering brands the ability to source the wool direct from the farm, and that's quite important these days because we want to know where are our materials coming from, how are they being looked after, can you tell me anything else about that fibre? So we can say we can source from regenerative farmers, maybe organic farmers. We can provide all of that information back to the brand, which then goes back to their consumers. And I guess we're kind of a cross between like an in-towel, if you think about the in-towel inside, with the in-towel inside nappies and other hygiene products. So that's the goal. This is the type of equipment that we make this material on. This is actually called a non-woven. So if you think about how carpets are made or your jerseys are made, they have to go through a process of making a yarn before it goes into the end product. This machine, you just put the wool fibre in, it makes a web and then it entangles it mechanically to make this material. So it's got a very, very low carbon footprint. Nike actually made I think it was a hoodie last year, and it was a non-woven material, which is quite groundbreaking. So we're doing something similar. But by Nike doing that, they were able to reduce their carbon footprint of that garment by 75%. So this is really the future of how we're going to make wool non-woven materials in the future, or any wool material. So that carbon footprint is quite key, and that's something that companies are looking for. So from inception, basically 2013 is when we started developing our newsorb material. That's our washable material. We then launched our new flex, which is this material, through some development in the UK. Newsorb was developed out of Ag Research and University of Otago. We raised our first seed round in 2022, late 2022, which Boost Innovation Fund supported us in that, and I really appreciate that because it really got us kick-started. And then we've done some trials with customers. Quickly thereafter, we ran trials on machinery because that was quite key to make sure technically it was viable. Testing it with customers meant it was economically viable, and then that essentially we got to a point where we could also understand how quickly we can output this material. So through that high-speed machinery, we can output these materials at over 120 metres per minute, which means we can really bring the price down. So where we are now, we're securing our first customers. We've got a diaper brand or a nappy brand, and a fem care brand, and then a washable product company. I won't say what that product is. There's not many of them around, but newsorb is our absorbent material, which is fully absorbent. So we've got 3 starting customers signing this year, which we're really excited about. And we've got some new trials for new customers coming on board later this year. And then after that, we're going to scale out the process even further. So for newsorb, we're going to scale that up. New flex, we've already worked out how we're going to scale that up. The machines are 4 metres wide, so huge scale. And then we can start developing other materials. So right now we're looking at only a layer in a nappy and a layer in, say, a period underwear brand. But we can start looking at other layers in those products. So we essentially just upscale those customers with other materials. And then beyond that, which I'm probably jumping ahead again, but these are all the applications we could actually put these materials into. So we will start basically finding key brands that have these type of products. But we've also found some interesting capability outside of hygiene, which could really benefit from wool. And these are things that we use every day. So really, really exciting times coming. This year is our year of commercialisation. Last year was around, does it work? Will people pay for it? and we've ticked those boxes. So huge thank you to Robbie, Melissa for your support, and the whole Booster team. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, and if you've got any questions, just come and see me later if you like. Thank you.